Good evening, it's 8 o'clock. I'm Sally Baudet, live from Johannesburg. Your top stories this evening. Mampintsha is charged but lays counterclaims against singer Babes Wodumo, saying the shocking video doesn't show that she hit him first. A Soweto schoolgirl allegedly raped on an orientation camp last weekend. 3 schoolboys have been suspended while authorities investigate what could have gone wrong at what was meant to be an exciting outing. And Eskom warns of possible load shedding again. This as dubious prepayments allegedly made by the power utility are probed at the State Capture Commission. Let's start here. Musician Mandla Mampintsha Mapumulo says Babes Wodumo is a drunk and she attacked him first. He broke his silence today after a video emerged showing him hitting the singer. Mampintsha appeared in court and was released on bail. A warning, of course, the following report does contain graphic visuals. THIS has the details.
Just a few minutes in the dock and musician Mandla Mampintsha Mapumulo is granted bail of 2,000 rand. He's accused of assaulting his girlfriend, Babes Wodumo. It was captured on a live video she posted on social media. On Tuesday, Mampintsha handed himself over to police. But now, he claims he is the victim.
Because she's been ngiyovula case nami bengafuna ukuvula case ngahamba ngabhala istatement akazi basibiza ngani OB because bengicabanga ukuthi mhlawumbe ngisazokwazi ukuphinde ngikhulume naye ngimtshele uyazi baka indaba kaTshwane akekho right uBabes mayiphuzile ifamily yazi akekho right mayiphuzile abantu esisebenza nabo bayazi uBabes akekho right mayiphuzile buza ukuthi uBabes wenzani mayiphuzile bazokutshela abantu nofakazi ushaya ngisho driver wasisebenza nabo uyalo neviolence. So yellow violence le mayilethela kumina and mina ngibuya kulento ngibuya kuyona yama case yokuthi kuthiwa ngiabuse kufanele ngenze njani. Ngishaye kaningi lapha endlini uyangibhula ngeke ngizilokhu ngibhula uBabes ngenduku noma sengireporta kubazali still bangakwazi ukusiza.
The SAPS disputes that Mapumulo opened a case though. Earlier in the day, Babes Wodumo's family held a media briefing, but she was reportedly receiving medical attention at the time and couldn't attend. In a short statement, her father thanked his daughter's fans for their support.
We wish to thank all the people of South Africa, political leaders, community leadership, fellow artists and media for the support given to our daughters at this time. As the incident was seen by many South Africans, the matter was formally reported to the police at Westville, and we hope it will be attended in a proper manner. We wish you all have to appreciate that since the matter has been handed over to the police, it becomes critical to give them opportunity to do proper investigation.
Mapumulo is expected back in court on the 15th of May. THIS in Durban.
Questions tonight about how a 13-year-old schoolgirl was allegedly raped by fellow pupils while on a school camp in De Deer. 3 boys implicated in the attack last weekend have been suspended. The Gauteng Education Department has now suspended all school camps in the province until they find out exactly what happened. The Soweto schoolgirl, who just weeks ago embarked on her high school journey, is now in counselling. Yanka Tome has the story.
The first year of high school, an already daunting time that has taken a shocking turn for a 13-year-old girl. It's alleged 3 fellow grade 8 pupils had raped her after she'd gone to the boys' chalet to smoke a hubbly-bubbly.
The teachers that were there, they said when they interviewed them, it's only 2 boys that confessed that they were part of that activity, and another girl just said the girl just stood on top of him, but they were all clothed at that time, so nothing happened. So on the basis of that, the teachers were approached by the same 3 boys, and that's when they explained what happened. And on that basis, then they went to open a case and took the child for medical attention.
But the boys' parents believe their sons are innocent. Apart from the rape case, the department is also looking into the apparent lack of adult supervision.
The MEC has instructed that all camps must be, cancelled, with immediate effect until such time we understand on what transpired and moving forward, how are we going to make sure that we manage, these camps properly.
What was supposed to be a time set aside for orientation here turned into a nightmare for one pupil. The 3 boys implicated in the ordeal have now been suspended from school. The focus now will be on the police investigation and supporting all those affected. Yankatolmai de Deer in the Vaal.
Eskom has warned there's a high possibility of load shedding this evening. Stage 1 rotational load shedding is still a possibility up until 10 o'clock tonight. Eskom says it's as a result of a shortage of capacity due to the loss of generating units at power stations. And while we keep an eye out and a battery charge for possible load shedding, the Zondo Commission of Inquiry is probing the extent of graft at Eskom. Today, an executive from the Power Utilities Energy Division testified on an unusual prepayment made to Tegeta, the Gupta-owned coal company. Snell Naga admits involvement in the 600 million rand transaction, but says he was under pressure from the office of Eskom's CFO, Anuj Singh. As Aaron Bates reports, the painstaking testimony is starting to paint a picture of what might have gone wrong at Eskom.
Snell Nagas implicated himself.
So help me God.
On the 13th of April 2016, Mayabana Naidu from the office of Eskom CFO Anuj Singh ordered him to urgently pay Tegeta 600 million rand.
In this case, you almost, I want to call it fooling the system. There is a request from the highest office or one of the highest officers in Eskom to please effect.
Less than 2 hours later, the transfer was sorted.
Tegeta is owned 29.05% by Ogbay, and then 28.53% of Tegeta. Tegeta is owned by Mabengela Investment, and Mabengela Investment is owned by Duduzane Zuma, Rajesh Kumar Gupta, Arrow Heaven Trading, Fidelity Investment, Mfaz Investment, and Ashu Chawla.
There was no contract between Eskom and Tegeta for coal from Optimum.
They amended a purchase order on the Brakfontein contract, and this transaction against the Brakfontein contract was reversed.
Do you accept, or do you not, that it was a wrong procedure?
I accept.
Yes. Why this rush?
Why Tegeta? Why is it special? We know that they are going to source from Optimum. We are having problems with the very same mine. It is under business rescue. It can't pay us.
Chair, you're correct. Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't make sense. The question was why.
Proceedings resume on Friday. Aaron Bates, Johannesburg.
An electricity pylon collapsed in Alexandra township in Johannesburg this afternoon. It caused a blaze that's destroyed over 50 homes. Community leaders say those left homeless are sleeping at a nearby creche and church building tonight. The blaze is said to be the biggest to have ever hit the area, and because the fire involved an electricity pylon, other areas in Johannesburg are without power this evening.
The problem that we're having, and it's across Alexandra, where we've got people building shacks under the electricity pylons. It's just lucky currently that no one got injured or even death, because it's very dangerous. It's 88,000 volts that are in those overhead lines. So had it found people on the ground, we would be talking something different currently.
Well, you still have a good 3 hours to fill up your tank before fuel hikes kick in. The price of petrol is to rise by 74 cents a litre from midnight. Diesel will go up by between 91 and 93 cents a litre. The Department of Energy announced that an increase in the crude oil price is the main reason behind the hike. The price of Brent crude is currently around $64 a barrel. And this, of course, is the second consecutive increase in fuel prices this year. Still ahead on eNews, scientists believe they could be a step closer to finding a cure for HIV.
And in your business news, it looks like the rand has managed to break out of its losing streak, posting some gains shortly after those positive GDP numbers came out.
Let's get all your business news now with Rufiwa Madzena. Good evening to you, Rufiwa. And GDP figures are out. Basically, that measures how quickly our economy is growing, and it's pretty much half what it was last year. Am I right?
That's right, Sally. So what we saw on a quarter-on-quarter basis, it did well. It did okay, 1.4% up. It was still lower than Q3, which was about 2.2% higher. And then on an annual basis,
I'm already confused.
So what we saw in the third quarter was that it increased by about 2.2%. We did anticipate, based on the sectors not doing well, mining and other crucial sectors, that it would be lower, but still at a considerable level. So this level was within expectations that economists were anticipating at about 1.4% quarter on quarter. So the full picture then, which is our full year growth, was at 0.8. And let's actually just pull up that graphic just to have a look at those numbers. So in Q4, as I was saying there, 1.4% growth, and then full year 0.8% growth. And in 2017, it was actually 1.4% growth, Sally, the full year picture in 2017. And the biggest contributors to GDP, which are manufacturing and mining, showed some significant movements. Manufacturing higher there by 4.5%, contributed to by more exports coming in and less imports coming in. And then mining, as we know, which has been going through a lot, down 3.8%. And there they're citing that load shedding, high operating costs, as well as those strikes, really putting a strain on our GDP. But economists have indicated that it's not all doom and gloom. They have indicated that there will be some improvements this year. Agriculture, which is another considerable contributor, about 11% to GDP, has been doing well, steadily growing. So we'll be seeing some growth there as well.
Good to have a little bit of a silver lining. Talk us through the indicators today.
Let's have a look at those indicators. So the JSE was lower today, despite the better than expected GDP numbers, closing 0.7% down. Industries that dragged the local bourse down were general retailers, down 1.5%, and platinum miners, which closed 1.36% weaker. On the commodities front, oil is still hovering at around $65 a barrel mark, while gold has come under immense pressure from a possible trade deal being struck by the US. Interestingly, the yellow metal has actually been benefiting from the conflict. Onto the local unit now. The rand initially reacted well to the GDP growth figures, up by almost 1% at one point today, but it has given up most of those gains since midday.
Shame, poor rand. Thank you very much. Rufi, will chat to you again tomorrow. Let's take a quick look at international news. US President Donald Trump has renewed sanctions against Zimbabwe for another year. This despite calls from African leaders, including our president, to have them lifted. Now, Trump says the new government's policies pose an unusual and extraordinary threat to America's foreign policy. Zimbabwe is trying to turn around its economic fortunes following the end of Mugabe's era. But there have been concerns over a violent clampdown on anti-government protests earlier this year, and news this week of the arrest of at least 2 members of the opposition MDC party. Some hopeful medical news. It's believed a second HIV patient has been cured of the virus. The London patient has been in remission for 18 months and is no longer taking antiretroviral drugs. Now, 10 years ago, a German patient's HIV also became undetectable. Both patients had received stem cells from donors resistant to HIV to treat blood cancer. Now, while the treatment is not practical for widespread use, it's raising hopes that it may provide important information that could one day lead to a cure for HIV. Ahead, we'll go to our weather centre. Louis is standing by with all your details. And then bad news for coffee lovers. Yes, I'm one of them. A study reveals you're paying a hefty price for that perfect cappuccino. Let's get your weather now. Good evening to you, Louis. We had hail this afternoon in Johannesburg. Are we going to get more?
Well, Sally, at least for the meantime, the thunderstorms have come to an end on the Highveld. There are one or two still hanging around, but those will also be dissipating in the next few hours. Overnight, things are going to be quite settled. We do have moisture busy pushing in from the Indian Ocean at the moment. That's going to bring some early morning drizzle to those eastern mountains of Limpopo and Mpumalanga. That moisture is also going to be pushing into the interior of the country. That's the fuel that's needed for thunderstorms to get going. So we're going to see thunder showers redeveloping tomorrow afternoon over the central interior, and that will also include Gauteng. And we'll just have to wait and see whether any hail falls out of those. It's also going to be an extremely hot day over the western interior of the country. We're going to see temperatures climbing into the 40s for some places, including for the interior of the Northern Cape. Take a look at Uppington and Prieska. Those minimum temperatures also very high. These areas are going to stay dry for your Wednesday. The extreme heat extends into the Karoo areas of the Western Cape, with Beaufort West and Oudtshoorn getting to 41 degrees Celsius, and similar conditions for many places in the Eastern Cape, although for this province we are going to see a few thunder showers, especially in the east. KwaZulu-Natal will be mostly dry, another hot and humid day for the coastline, while there could be a few thunder showers closer to the Drakensberg. And then for Mpumalanga, there will be a mixture of early morning drizzle and afternoon thunderstorms for this area. Fairly dry as well for Limpopo, although there will be a bit of light rain for that eastern part. Maybe even Palabora could see a few drops first thing in the morning. And then in the northwest, afternoon thunder showers for this province, but they will be isolated. And very similar conditions for all of the Free States. Bloemfontein, you're included within the area where we expect storms to develop. And finally, for Gauteng, there will be a few thunder showers, another warm to hot afternoon in the area. Let's take a look ahead to what you can expect for Thursday. And once again, thunder showers over the central parts, while a cold front is expected to bring some rain towards the southern coastline. And then on Friday, that cold front will cool the Eastern Cape, where it's going to be a big drop in temperature with cloud and rain in the forecast, and a few more thunder showers for Gauteng and the surrounding parts. So that's all from the Weather Centre. Sally, it's back to you.
Thank you so much, Louis, there in Cape Town. And finally, petrol's going up, price of power is probably going up, but at least we still have our coffee. But a new study says we're paying quite a hefty price for our designer cappuccinos compared to brews made in other parts of the world. Matilda Matoa-Tlaga investigates.
The perfect cappuccino. But perfection takes time, and a pretty penny it seems.
You gotta get your brine right, get your espresso shot right, and then you gotta get your milk right.
So what makes this morning drink of choice so popular?
I drink it for the flavor, and even if I can smell that coffee and just have a sip, then I'll be happy.
I think it's around the between 20 and 25 rand mark for most places, so I think it's pretty reasonable.
For me, it's like a matter of, it keeps me going, because working in a coffee shop, you eat at 6, so you gotta wake up. So yeah, I drink about 3 cups of coffee a day, sometimes 4, when I'm having a rough day.
South Africans consume around 83 cups of coffee a year. That's a whole lot of coffee. So when you drink your next cuppa, just remember, it doesn't come cheap. Matilda Matoa-Tlaga, Johannesburg.
Recap your top story. Mampintsha is charged but lays counter claims against singer Babes Wodumo, saying the shocking video doesn't show that she hit him first. That's your news. Take care. Good night.